Okay, stop there.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to see that more clearly. Okay, okay. Now, so when you put it on top of each other like that, hierarchically, just to kind of get a better understanding of what's going on. Now, let's say if you spell out like bait, you got the yud and the tov, and then you got the resh being spelled out. Can you also spell those out in that vertical way as well and step through those characters? It seems like you can.
Yeah, yeah. The only one that will be, well, hey is just one. It's just life. It's just life. But and then Bob and Mem are really simple letters. And but the other letters are defined by other letters, and you can find under the hood, underground, like a an iceberg. What you are on the surface is just a surface representation of, but there's a whole lot under the earth, a whole lot under the water, which is not seen, which is why the Titanic sank, because it didn't consider what was underneath the water. It was the elevation of man's pride. And the fact of the matter is that the Titanic could not be sunk. Well, it could be sunk, and that is a message to us. But when you look at Reshit, Bereshit, I see in each and every one of those letters not so much a a special beginning, but a formula from what it takes in the revelation from Beit to Tav is a revelation of what is taking place on an archetypal level and on a cosmic level of all of those letters. And if we look at what goes underneath each and every one of those letters, we will find a general formula of a spiritual process that has taken place, that takes place, not necessarily in time, but I had if I anchor it to time, I just feel that that word is actually a energetic formula of the sum totality of revelation from the containment of Aleph all the way to Tav, and it brings us back to Tav. Just a reflection. It's just a process, a general process, a formula which can be broken down in an electronic device or in quantum mechanics. It's
You,
I have had to isolate myself. It obviously created six, in one interpretation, but interpret the number six and the letters that make up that word shish in six, you find that you are going to deepen the sense of what is really being communicated there. And we can use as time, the tree of life to get a formula, but that there's something hiding underneath that in terms of revelation to be interpreted in light of all the letters from Keter all the way down to Malkut. And each and every one of those words has specific letters with specific contents to be able to define what is being displayed there on many different levels.
wow. I can almost see this when you keep saying formula.
Yes,
I keep going the formula recipe, right?
yes,
You need these components
yes,
in proximity to
yes,
exist in a quantum state.
yep,
And because they exist in this quantum state, which is outside of time,
yes, yes, yes,
when these formulas have the I would have to say it's by direction, by guidance. It
Yep.
has to be willed, um, commanded, directed, whatever you want to choose. They have to be guided in a sense for their interaction. Once this interaction takes place,
And that's called a root. I think it's what you're talking about. Something called a root.
And some letters don't go into other letters. So when you find the material creation and you look to discern a particular entity, it's contorted. The letters are actually contorted and not arranged in a proper formula. That would be like Adam in beginning. What do you call the animals? Well, I see the animals as energetic formulas, and they
right,
are the energetic formulas. The animals are simply an inverted expression of a higher reality, energetic reality being manifested in this particular realm. Don't get stuck on the animal, but get stuck on the formula, because the formula is cosmic and is absolutely amazing and is revealing an energetic structure that goes beyond the imperfect presentation in an inverted sense in this reality.
So in a sense, you could say from a root branch perspective, that in
Yeah.
terms of roots
Yep.
from above
Yep.
are already existent. They already exist.
Exactly.
yes.
All complete. They're all there. They're all in a perfect form.
That's why physicists have said in nothingness are the patterns of everything.
Right.
We exist in a realm of probabilities, which is quantum physics.
So it's all there.
Yes.
Not necessarily all manifested yet because we haven't brought it here. That's our job, correct?
That's it. That's what
This
it means to straighten things out with love and compassion and understanding, because I mean, we are all in the same boat. It doesn't make anybody better than anybody else, a Gar, a Jew, a Norwegian, a Finlander. It doesn't really matter anymore. It's just the science of God.
we all come from the same source,
Yes. Yes.
and we will return to that same source.
Aleph Tav, Tav to Aleph. Yes.
What when you say in this reality, or I think my mind says time because we constructed time. This is where we see the physical manifestations of the quantum reality.
In ASEA.
Yes,
So there's a latency between the root and the branches. There's a latency between
a
uh,
filter, a filter.
Yes.
say a
Or,
filter, and you have to remove that filter, right?
yes.
And it's going to
Uh,
take time.
okay, how shall I say, there's your firmament between the waters above and the waters below.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you translate the letters firmament, wow, you will get a whole new kettle of fish, that anything like anything you've never heard before. It is a freeing. I have to think that Ezra discovered a book was discovered, which was to lead all of humanity, all of his people, everyone, into this sense of realization. It
Okay. Can I say this? Is it possible to equate the idea of firmament with veil? A veil, a separating veil.
Well, if the general idea, every one of the letters in the word firmament will tell you a particular message. And if that message will support your idea, if you consider all of the letters in formula, uh, and each and every letter and the part that it plays in that formula. The subject will be, if it acts as a veil, it'll tell you something. I have really, and I haven't really described these things to people because I will get hecked from some of the stuff because I step on a lot of traditions. But we have to have what has been given to us from the very beginning, which is his letters and the expression of his letters. And so if we interpret everything, including like Ish and Isha and all of that stuff, and the Ganidan, Canon, we will divine that the letters that define it will tell us a story that's never really been told before. I guess, and I don't mean to, I'm talking so much, Ross, but if you look at the letters and what they're made up of, you will find a sewed secret here. It goes, in a sense, beyond Kabbalah. And I hate to say that, but I have felt like it includes Kabbalah, but it keeps you into it brings you into being a wise builder. The people who have in the Torah have been given the ability to transmute the letters and to describe the building of the tabernacle.
And tell you that Kabbalah teachings, the Zohar and all that, they're not meant to, they teach you about what's above through the branches.
Yes.
Not teaching you the roots. So you're correct in what you're saying, because the roots are in many respects almost entirely outside of our purview. So that's why you're saying above. I'm just clarifying that. So I understand what you're saying, and I know that's what you mean.
Bezalel and the other guy, both of those names are energetic formulas.
Holy Bama.
Every personification of the name of what we call God is actually an energetic formula.
Yes.
And Elohim starts off with Aleph Lamed, being directed into this. We break it all down, and it will lead into some book that will be found that I think I'm just intuitively sensing it'll be recorded in the book of Ezra, the book that would lead people into a new understanding of what it really means to function and to live in this particular dimension, but also it moves us up into the high level of intuitive understanding that Adam had from the very beginning. Tell me if I'm talking too much, you guys.
Oh, I think you just lit a light bulb over here.
No, keep going. You've been storing this up for a while. It's no fair. You've been holding us back.
Well, I am what led to just appreciate the letters is for everyone. And I tell you, when I was in the hospital, I would talk with people on different lines, the letters and stuff like that, and different lines in the letters. And I came to appreciate every individual that came to me, no matter if they were in a grumpy mood or a not so grumpy mood. And I was able to see things in them and to encourage them, not with religious terminology or things that they would have to do, but I would encourage them through the energetic sense of the letter and the letters being danced in their lives in their own configuration. The form, the tzade, their forms, and the resistances, and it just takes, like you have described for me, David, just giving them an apple transfers the energy to their form and does something within their existence.
Yes, Sneerson used to do that. He's not the only one. A lot of the Kabbalists have.
Yeah.
So, two things. Just I need to clarify on one. When you said the book of Ezra, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're referring to what we read where he came out, he brought the Torah, he read it to everyone. And for those, the uninitiated, so to speak, there were people that were there to translate, if you will, right?
Yes.
If I'm understanding the bigger message, it wasn't that he was trying to teach um, the native and the Ger about okay, we're all grown ups. The Hebrew God, he was saying there is just one God,
Mm-hmm.
and we are all from that one source. And regardless of whether your status is what we would call a non Jew or a Jew, we all come from that same source. We will return to that same source. And while we're here, we are to live in peace and harmony for the mutual benefit of everyone, all of us.
Yes. Yeah.
That, I think, is the larger picture of what the book of Ezra was trying to say. We misinterpret it as if he was just trying to convert everyone.
If you look at the narrative in Ezra's name and all the names that are the energetic formulas are being personified in order to cause memory, to stimulate memory, but underneath the personification of the names and this narrative are formulas of amazing significance. The narrative is actually, whether or not it's an event that ever happened, I just say that we're all big boys now, whether it's
Right.
an event that happened, maybe the Kabbalists were choosing narratives to be able to convey an energetic structure for all of humanity. And Ezra's name is a personification of letters. And when you look at the personification of his name, you will look at the narrative in a completely different way than actually the Peshat. You move past the Peshat to,
Well,
oh man,
well, also consider, like he said, that people had to translate. And like I said before, translation is a commentary. So the way I read that is that he was permitting other people to meet who understood what he was saying
yes,
to be able to explain it in a way that his people from their culture, their background, they may be farmers. These guys are programmed, they're geeks. These guys are mechanics. These guys are electricians. These guys are plumbers, and so on and so forth. You have to relate to each one differently. You use different vernacular to communicate the same thing. And
yeah,
so, and that's one of the issues I have with with religion in general, but
hmm,
also even some of the Kabbalistic, quote unquote, teachers out there
yes,
who think that, oh, you have to say it only the way I say it, teach it only the way I teach it.
yeah,
Don't vary from this, use these words, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, no, I'm going to understand what you're saying, and then I'm going to translate it, so to speak, so that people can at least grab onto something, and then
yep,
they can start moving themselves forward. So
yep,
that's the way I perceive what was happening there. And I think that's part of the overall picture is that we had to be permitting people to explain things in a way that you may hear it and you say, no, no, that's not what I meant. But the person hearing it may go, oh, he meant this. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I said. What do you mean? How come you didn't get it? No, he had to understand a different way to be able to come back.